Hello, everyone, and welcome to SEG SOU Student Chapter Podcast. My name is Safia, and today we're joined by an alumnus of UFAS, a graduate of IFP School in France, and currently an explorational geoscientist at Total Energies Javidan Karimli. In this episode, we'll talk about his journey from student life to building an international career in geoscience inside of his field, and etc. Welcome. We're excited to have you here. First question is, in geophysics, you're working with things you can't actually see. How do you stay confident when the data isn't perfect?
Thank you very much for inviting me. It's a pleasure to be here. That part of geophysics is actually what I love the most because you have a place for scientific imagination. And the way we work is you rely on three things: is data, which is hard data, the physics, the seismic that we see, and of course the regional data. The quality of the data can be not perfect, but the history of a geological basin cannot lie. So, on top of all of this, you gain experience by working in the field, and then you always deal with uncertainties and risks. Again, that is what makes our field um, such interesting field to be working in, and I'm happy with it.
Data science is everywhere now. Has it really changed geophysics, or is it just a new tool to learn?
Um, it did. It did fundamentally change the way we work in geophysics and the field itself. But it's essential to highlight that the core of geophysics, which is the rock physics, the seismic, the wave propagation theory, they are not changing. The core is there. It's just we can imagine it as an upgrade. So we are dealing with unconventional methodologies to process seismic data, to interpret, and we are looking at the data from completely new perspectives. It's not only about automating processes. Of course, we are gaining a lot of time, but also it's as AI itself is saying often, unveiling the hidden parts. So it did change. Short answer, it did change, but we have to work with it. It's not a replacement of conventional geophysics.
Can you tell us about a project that really shaped your career or taught you something very important?
Yes, I will go for my internship project actually, which I also had a chance to be one of the exploration team members at Total Energies at after my degree at IFP school. And what it taught me is that you should be able to move on in geophysics and you can't be a perfectionist because I was struggling to build a map on a regional scale of a carbonate platform in Middle East, and every time I was facing a data issue or a data quality issue, I was I was thinking that I should stop, but then eventually, after some time, some experience, I understood that you have to move forward, and I also had the pleasure to be working with a great mentor who taught me that um, you have to use your imagination, and that's where it comes from. And I think it was pivotal project where I stepped into the professional world.
What common thinking mistakes do geoscientists fall into when interpreting data?
Um, it's a subjective one, but I think as whole group of geoscientists, we are prone to make two big mistakes. One is biases, anchoring bias or confirmation bias. You fell in love with your first interpretation and you think that this is the correct way, and then you have data which suggests different. So this is the first one, and the second is about the scale, I would say, because we have to always shift between log scale or even microscopic scale to seismic scale or even bigger regional scale. And it's very important to be aware of this because you can get easily lost on this how to say lake of data of different scales, and you think that if you see one signature on data A, you have to see it on B, which is not true.
Mhm.
So I would say yes, biases. We have to be aware of biases and the scale of data.
Do you think today's geoscientists need to know coding and tech skills, or is strong core knowledge enough?
It's in a way related to your previous question about how
Yeah.
ML and data science affected our work. I think again, having the core knowledge in geosciences, be it geology, rock physics, sedimentology, having understanding of what you are searching for is crucial. And then you will be always more valuable if you know more skills. You can bring into the table, into the team, an automation skill if you know Python, if you know how to code. So it's in a way also a personal decision. There are some teams, there are some companies that require it as a must. For example, my previous team with Viverity, we were working in ML in geosciences. So everybody had to understand what's going on with data science. But then right now in my daily job, I do not use a lot of coding, uh, which is not a negative thing for me right now. So it can be good if you can learn it. But I would say which is more crucial is the core geoscience knowledge.
What is the most challenging and the most enjoyable part of your job?
Right now, I would say the most challenging part of my job, there are two things. First is I'm dealing a lot with onshore projects, and in onshore domain, you have to understand very well the datums of different data. For example, seismic reference datum or project reference datum. The wells have different ones. The time depth relationships between wells and seismic have different ones. So I would say this background unseen work of my daily work where you have to understand and correctly homogenize everything in one datum is one of the challenges. The second one, shortly, is about timing. The world is moving faster and faster, and you have to bring results. You have to make decisions. I think I still got a lot to learn on that front. What I enjoy, it's of course working with great people because that's one of the biggest benefits of working in a big corporate where you have access to great minds, people with 20, 30 years of experience, where you can discover many things about the project, about yourself, and about the field that you chose. And it never stops to amaze me that even people with 30 years of experience will be staying humble and suggesting you that we have to be aware of risks and uncertainties because we are dealing with subsurface where we don't really see what's going on.
If you were advising students today, what skills should they focus on the most?
If you want to build a career in geosciences, be it in energy exploration or in renewable industry, I would say again having the core of uh, good engineering and geology, geosciences is crucial, which then paves the way to any field that you want to choose. And nowadays, which I think is very important also, on top of all these core and technical skills, you have to be a good communicator, you have to be a critical thinker, and you have to manage your time very well. Because imagine you are very good in what you do, you are technically perfect, but if you are not able to transfer the correct message to the correct people, the job will go unseen. And this is the harsh or whatever you call it, the reality. So on top of all the technical knowledge, I would strongly suggest to focus on presentation skills also and communication. Our work consists of a lot of talks and meetings, and you have to communicate and correctly transfer the need of data or or decision that you want, so that you can get an answer. If not, it's a struggle. Yeah.
On your LinkedIn, you mentioned wanting to make the world more livable. What does that mean in your daily work?
It's true that I posted it on professional network, but I do not relate it to only professional career. However, um, as I suggested previously, uh, providing the energy today that we need to build the tomorrow is what I believe that I'm making the world more livable place on a professional note, and on a personal note is about being myself, because I really like sharing my knowledge, my expertise, my experience, even though it's very short. If I manage to influence a mindset of a student that has reached out in a way, I already changed the world for him
Mhm.
and also for myself. So staying kind, staying curious, being able to share, to to bring value is what I those are my values that I keep in my everyday life.
Energy work often sits between business goals and environmental concerns. How do you personally think about the balance?
My truth is we are going through energy transition and not energy exit. So I think we definitely need to be providing more responsibly the energy that is world demanding, and from an inside perspective, seeing how much the energy companies are investing in renewable industry, I feel comfortable working in that domain, because this way I can at least I can contribute to better decisions, which means less emissions and fewer fewer how do you say uh, mm, fewer wrong decisions. But yeah, so I feel comfortable in a sense that I'm working in the energy domain.
Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for inviting. It's a big pleasure.
See you on the next episode.